In Remembrance, the final class audio drama so far, and I think it's the one that the Big Finish were building to, because as most of the publicity delved around the fact that this one had Ace in it, played by Sophie Aldred, companion in the 1980s, and appeared in a Coal Hill episode, Remembrance of Daleks, which of course this episode actually ties into, and it's a good idea to have class episodes that tie into Coal Hill and the, a bit more of the backstory. I'm surprised they didn't do that with the series, but I think that's maybe because they wanted Patrick Ness wanted it to be a bit more standalone, so I think he would have done a bit more tying to class to Coal Hill in the second series if there was. So you could kind of see why fans would still want a second series, because there's a lot you could do with it. So let's just focus on the episode for now. Okay, so Quill and Charlie investigate the school after someone sets off an alarm, and it reveals that Ace and a Dalek have come through a tear and are attacking them. And there's a lot of banter between Ace and Quill over their methods and what's going on. So then Charlie ends up in 1963, the setting of Remembrance of the Daleks, and he basically spends most of the episode getting chased by Daleks and harassed by soldiers. Quill and Ace that both reveal that they know the Doctor, but on different terms. They both see him in different ways. It's quite a bit of I'm trying to think of a word to describe it, because Quill's very bitter, but Ace is very optimistic, and you can kind of sense that, and it clashes. So Charlie then finds one of the destroyed Daleks of the episode, and then gets thrown out of the school by a soldier. So you can kind of see how attitudes have changed towards basically what people can get away with. In the present, the Dalek discovers the attack in 1963 failed and records a message over which the Dalek theme plays, which I don't think we've heard in a few Dalek. Well, we've heard versions of it for previous episodes, but never the original. So Ace then gets a memory of meeting Charlie back in 1963. This is getting a little bit odd, but that's time travel for you. It's a brief encounter, and Charlie just basically tells Ace not to go in school, but she does it anyway. So Quill criticises Ace's backstory and how she fought in the Time War, but then the pair compare war stories, and they both got memories they rather forget, and and traumatic experiences. So I haven't listened to like I said when I started this review series for these episodes, I haven't listened to many Big Finish audio, so I'm a little bit surprised that Ace was in the Time War. If you think of any audio dramas that basically give a bit more in-depth to this, please leave in the description below and I'll try and check them out. Moving on, what was I? So after the Dalek discovers the defeat, Quill and Ace finds a canister of Nitro 9, which everyone knows is explosive, but all Quill can care about is the fact that it was in a deodorant can. In 1963, Charlie thinks, well, he probably did find the TARDIS, but he could have just found a police box, sort of like what happened in the Sarah Jane Adventures episode, The Temptation of Sarah Jane, which was a good comedic moment. It's a little bit difficult because you don't actually see it. It could have been the genuine TARDIS, could have not been. I kind of wish. So then I'll get back to that in a minute. So Ace blows up the Dalek after calling it Oasis, which is a really good line. Meanwhile, Charlie runs back into the soldier, and a Dalek escapes. Soldier gets killed. So you kind of see that this one's more about Ace and Quill debating ethics and Charlie just being chased by Daleks. So Quill examines the exploded Dalek, the Dalek survived and Quill kicks it, but it offers to help her find Charlie, which sort of again shows Quill's anti-hero nature ish. Like, she's just repairing, like, would you really, it's sort of like one of those moments where you've got to do something you don't want to do something that you have to do, even though in this case it's something Quill doesn't want to do. So there's a lot of not wanting to do stuff but having to do it anyway in this episode. And then Charlie hides in a cupboard, and the music of this moment is awesome. It's sort of like that chase music that actually was in Remembrance for Daleks. I kind of wish we actually saw it, because what happens is, while Quill's repairing the Dalek, Charlie blinds another Dalek with chemicals, criticising the health and safety of 1960s schools. It looks like a really fun moment, and I do wish that this was an actual episode, because it would have been really fun to see Charlie running around 1960s London being chased by Daleks. But then there's this moment where Quill and Ace's debates take a serious turn, because Quill's just sick of how everyone criticises her actions and the fact she's sick and tired of doing stuff she doesn't want to do, and she's sort of like forced to pull up with everyone else's morals. But Ace thinks that the Doctor saw something value with her, which I do wish we kind of saw a bit more of both sides of Quill. It just feels like Class would have worked a lot better if 1, got a second series, obviously, 2, had a few more episodes, and 3, and I think this kind of one of the things that I think this series has done well is that it slowed down the development and focused more on the stories, but I'm glad they did manage to do development better than other spin-offs. If I do, I'll have to do a comparison video for that. So Charlie gets cornered by a Dalek, but Quill manages to repair the other Dalek in time, and then gets back to the 60s, where she saves Charlie, and the Dalek self-destruct before it can warn the fleet about their failure. So Ace and Quill have a final discussion where it turns out that where Charlie discovers that they know the Doctor, and I feel like there's kind of a little reference to the Sarah Jane Adventures about how some people Ace taught save the world a lot and its children, so it could be a reference to the Sarah Jane Adventures, or it could just be another audio drama or book or comic book I haven't seen or heard of yet. And that's it. I mean, this story, it's one that seems a bit on a loop, so I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot with this one. I do like the fact that there's a lot more of Quill discussing how she's more of a grey character rather than a villain forced to do heroic things, or a hero with just attitude. Like, a lot of people saw her as the most fleshed out character of the series, and there was a lot we could do with that, with a lot that could have been done with the character. So what this the whole audio box set does is just reinforces how Class, although had its problems, but in fairness those issues could arguably be said about the other spin-offs. I do enjoy these audio dramas. I hope we get more, but I also still hope there's a second series. I mean, with this episode you got Ace, you got Daleks, you got more ties into Doctor Who, and there's so much more stuff you could do with Class. Like, you can have an episode where it's Quill and Jack fighting, and it ends when it's revealed that Quill's husband's name is Yanto. Yeah. You could have the Coal Hill Defenders meet the Bannerman Monroe gang or Torchwood, and there's a bit of catch up and or maybe John Hart. I mean, anything really. Leave in the comments below what you think Class could have done for its second series. What I'm going to do is end it now. I don't think I'm going to do any more audio dramas, but I am going to do a lot more Class content because I just love the series. So next time, maybe I'm going to do, at some point in the future, I'm going to do a top 10 list on what I think should happen in a second Class series. Well, that's it for these audio dramas. I'll see you next time. I'm sorry this last one's a little bit hectic. Goodbye.